Have you ever found yourself sitting in a quiet room, wondering when was the last time someone called just to talk? Or maybe you've looked around and realized that many of the people you used to spend time with aren't part of your daily life anymore. Whether due to distance, life changes, or simply time moving on. If that sounds familiar, I want you to know, first of all, you are not alone. Loneliness after 65 is something that more and more people are quietly dealing with. It can sneak in after retirement, after the kids have moved out, or after losing a spouse or close friends. And it's not just about being physically alone. It's that aching sense of being disconnected, like you're no longer part of the rhythm of life you once knew so well. But here's the good news. Loneliness is not a life sentence. It's a feeling, not a fact. And while it may be common, it's absolutely something you can overcome with the right steps, the right mindset, and a little bit of courage to try something new. That's what we're going to talk about today. Because no matter how old you are, your life still has purpose. And there are still so many beautiful connections waiting to be made. Let's start by looking at something that's often overlooked, but is deeply powerful. Reconnecting with your own interests. You see, over the years, many of us have spent so much time caring for others. Raising kids, working hard, helping a spouse, keeping a household going, that our own passions quietly got pushed aside. Maybe you used to love painting, gardening, writing, or playing an instrument. Maybe you had a dream to learn photography or speak another language. But somewhere along the way, life got busy, and those interests faded into the background. Now is the time to bring them back into the light. Because when you engage in something that excites or calms your spirit, you stop feeling like life is happening to you, and instead you feel like you're actively participating again. And the beautiful part? When you're doing something you enjoy, you naturally start connecting with others who enjoy it too. That's how new friendships begin, organically, through shared interests, not forced small talk. So maybe it starts with signing up for a community art class or a walking group in your neighborhood. Or maybe it's as simple as joining an online book club where you can chat about stories with people from all over the country. You don't have to be the most outgoing person in the world to do this. Just taking that small step outside your comfort zone is often enough to create a ripple effect. Another thing to remember is that connection doesn't always have to start with big conversations or brand new friendships. Sometimes it starts with a wave to your neighbor each morning, or a short chat with the cashier at your local market. These small moments of interaction may seem minor, but they add up, and they remind you that you are still a part of a living, breathing world. You are still seen. You are still important. Now, let's talk about something that's perhaps even more powerful than friendship, and that's purpose. Purpose is what gives our days meaning. It's what gets us out of bed with intention. And after 65, it's easy to feel like your big responsibilities are over. The kids are grown. The job is done. So now what? Here's the thing. Just because a chapter has closed doesn't mean the story is over. You have wisdom that younger people desperately need. You have experiences that can guide someone through a hard time. You have a heart that still has so much to give. Whether it's volunteering at a local school, mentoring a young adult, helping out at a community garden, or simply being the listening ear someone else needs, you still have incredible value to offer the world. Purpose doesn't have to be huge. It just needs to be real. And the wonderful part is, when you do something that makes someone else's life a little better, your own loneliness starts to melt away too. Because now, you're not just sitting with your thoughts, you're out in the world making a difference. That kind of fulfillment fills spaces in the heart that silence never could. If you've ever felt like the world has forgotten about you, let me remind you, it hasn't, and you haven't missed your moment. It's right here, right now, so take a breath. You're still becoming. You're still capable of love, laughter, learning, and connection. The journey of building new relationships and finding purpose after 65 doesn't have to be overwhelming. It starts one small step at a time. Now that we've explored how reigniting your passions and finding new purpose can begin to ease loneliness, let's talk about something that might feel a little uncomfortable at first, but can be one of the most healing steps you can take. And that's reaching out and letting people know that you'd like more connection in your life. Now, I know this is not always easy. Many of us grew up in a time when we didn't talk openly about loneliness. We were taught to tough it out, to keep our struggles quiet, and to put on a brave face. But here's the truth. Being honest about wanting companionship is not a weakness. In fact, it takes real strength to say, I miss having people to talk to, or I'd love to spend more time with others. Sometimes we assume that if people haven't called or reached out, they've forgotten us. But more often than not, they're caught up in their own busy lives, not realizing how quiet things have become for you. And when you take that brave step to reach out, a phone call, a letter, even a quick message, you'd be surprised how warmly people respond. That old friend from years ago, they might be feeling the same way. That neighbor down the street, they might be wishing someone would invite them for coffee, too. Connection is often waiting for us. We just have to be willing to take that first small step toward it. Another way to do this is by saying yes more often. Maybe someone invites you to a church group gathering, or a community picnic, or even just a walk around the park. And your first instinct might be, no, I'll pass. I probably won't know anyone. That little voice in your head might tell you it's safer to stay home, to avoid the awkwardness, to keep things simple. But the truth is, those yes moments are exactly how new chapters begin. You don't have to commit to a big lifestyle change. Just try saying yes once a week to something you'd normally skip. You never know what it could lead to. A friendly conversation, a new hobby, even a new best friend. Life still has surprises for you, but you have to step into places where those surprises can happen. It's also worth mentioning that technology, while it may seem overwhelming at first, can be a powerful ally in building connection. If you've ever felt like the digital world is moving too fast or that it's not for you, I want to gently encourage you to give it another look with the right support. Video calls with your family, joining an online group of people who share your interests, or even using apps made just for seniors to meet new friends or pen pals. These are small things that can open doors. Many libraries and senior centers now offer classes to help you get comfortable with a tablet or smartphone. And once you get the hang of it, it can really expand your world. Imagine being able to chat face-to-face with your grandkids even if they live 3 states away. Or being able to join a virtual group that meets weekly to talk about history, cooking, gardening, whatever you love. You don't even have to leave the house, but you still feel part of something bigger than yourself. And here's the beautiful part. Each time you make the effort to reach out or say yes, your confidence grows. That heavy, lonely feeling starts to lift. You start to feel lighter, brighter, more like yourself again. Like you're not just passing time, you're living it. But let me pause for a moment to say this. If you're feeling lonely right now, really lonely, you are not broken. There is nothing wrong with you. Loneliness is a natural emotion. We're human and we were made for connection. And if your life has slowed down or changed in a way that's made your world feel quieter, that doesn't mean your best days are behind you. In fact, many people find that the years after 65, when they have the freedom to choose how they spend their time, can be some of the richest, most fulfilling years of their lives. It all starts with intention. Intending to reconnect. Intending to show up, even if it's just for yourself at first. Intending to give kindness to others, not because you're trying to get something in return, but because giving connection often invites it right back in. And sometimes, purpose shows up when we give someone else the very thing we're missing. If you're craving a warm smile, be the one who gives it to someone else. If you miss meaningful conversation, ask someone about their story. When you become a source of connection for others, your own sense of belonging deepens, too. Now, I know all of this takes time. If you've been feeling lonely for a while, it's not going to vanish overnight. But every little choice you make, whether it's calling an old friend, joining a new activity, or simply being kind to a stranger, is a step toward building the kind of life you deserve. One filled with warmth, laughter, companionship, and the kind of purpose that fills you up from the inside out. You've come this far, and there is still so much ahead. So much beauty to witness, so many hands to hold, so many conversations to enjoy. You're not just here to exist, you're here to live. And living doesn't always mean big adventures or noisy gatherings. Sometimes, it's the quiet moments that restore us. Sitting on a park bench with someone who listens. Sending a birthday card to a friend you haven't seen in years. Volunteering an hour a week at the local animal shelter or food bank. These are not just activities. They are bridges that bring us back to the world and to ourselves. Now, let's talk about one of the most powerful ways to rebuild a sense of purpose after 65. And that's rediscovering what lights you up inside. Because here's the thing. When we retire or when our children grow up and build lives of their own, it's easy to feel like our role in the world has faded. You might ask yourself, what am I even here for now? That question can be heavy, but it's also a doorway. It's an invitation to explore who you are beyond what you used to do. Beyond your job, your roles, your responsibilities. Deep down, what brings you joy? What gives you energy instead of taking it away? Maybe you used to love painting, but haven't touched a brush in years. Maybe you always dreamed of writing your story, learning to play the piano, or growing your own vegetables. Maybe you've always had a heart for helping others and just didn't know where to begin. This chapter of your life isn't about going backward. It's about going inward and bringing that inner fire back out into the world in your own unique way. Finding purpose doesn't have to mean starting a grand mission. It can be something as simple as committing to write a few lines in a journal every morning, or choosing to mentor a younger person in your community. Even caring for a pet, something that depends on you, looks forward to you coming home, can fill your days with meaning. Purpose is not about impressing anyone. It's about feeling that your presence matters, that you wake up and there's something to do, someone to love, a reason to smile. And when we talk about loneliness, it's not always about having people around us 24/7. It's more about whether we feel seen, heard, and needed. And the beautiful thing is, when you connect with your purpose again, even in small, gentle ways, those feelings begin to return. Let's say you start visiting the community center once a week. At first, it's just a way to get out of the house. But then, someone recognizes you, smiles when you walk in, asks about your day. That tiny interaction plants a seed. You start to feel more rooted, more like yourself. Or maybe you start making phone calls to check in on other seniors who are homebound. It seems like a small thing, but the moment you hear their voice brighten when you say hello, you feel it. You matter. You made a difference in someone's day. And when we give our time and our heart to others, the echo always comes back to us. I also want to say this because it's something not enough people say out loud. It's okay if you feel grief. It's okay if you miss someone so much it hurts. Loneliness and loss often walk hand in hand. And after 65, many of us are carrying invisible weights. Missing a spouse, a sibling, a friend we used to talk to every day. That's not something you just get over. But healing begins when we start to share those feelings. Not to fix them, but simply to release them. That's why joining a support group, whether in person or online, can be incredibly powerful. Being in a space where others understand what you're going through, where you don't have to explain yourself, where people get it, that kind of support can soothe your spirit like nothing else. And even if you're not ready for a group, you can start with just one person, a friend, a counselor, even writing in a journal where your thoughts have a safe place to land. Loneliness shrinks when we stop hiding it. It's not a sign of failure. It's a sign that your heart still longs for love, for connection, for life. That's not something to be ashamed of. That's something to be proud of. It means you still care deeply, and the world still needs people like you. So, if today feels lonely, know this. It won't always be this way. Even a small step, a new hello, a short walk with a neighbor, a class that sparks your curiosity, can shift your world. There's a quiet strength in choosing to engage with life again, in believing that it's not too late, that you're not too old, that love and friendship and meaning don't have expiration dates. They are available to you, right now, today. So take that walk, make that call, dust off that old dream and give it another look. Because your story isn't finished. In fact, some of the best parts may still be waiting to unfold.